In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your shifter lever. Take your keys, put them in the ignition, turn it to the on position, and then use a pick, go through this hole here, and you're going to have to find the little pin that locks in the ignition cylinder. There we go. You want to push on this pin right here. That's what you're aiming for. And as you push, you want to wiggle this, slide it out, and well, eventually it should pop free. I want to remove these trim pieces that sit around the steering column. Unthread the steering wheel adjuster lever. Next, there are 3 Phillips head screws that you have to remove. There's one on the left side, and then there will be 2 on the right side from underneath. Now you can take this lower half and remove it. There we go. Pull out on this and drop the steering wheel down. Now we're gonna have to take off this trim piece right here. So grab it, pull out on it, slide it up and out of the way. Might have to shift this. There we go. And now we can remove this upper steering column trim piece. Next, what you want to do is get a little pocket screwdriver, and we'll pop off this piece over here that holds down the shifter boot. Pop it up and out. And if you follow this wire, it's kind of hard to see, but there's going to be a little clamshell retainer here. Either disconnect the whole retainer or open it up. I was able to open mine up. What you want to do is slide this boot out of the way. This gives us access to the locking pin that holds your shifter onto this column. Now you get a hammer and gently tap this pin out. I'm going to finish it off with a small punch. Try not to make the pin go flying because you'll need it still. There it is. Set this aside safely. At this point, you can pull your shifter lever straight out. Here it is. But there's still wiring attached to it. So we'll just unclip the wire. If you follow the wire, you'll be able to unclip it from its retainer. There's one here and one back there. There we go. As you can see, that's the retainer I was talking about. Now, if you come underneath the dash, you'll be able to see that connector right there. And that one is the overdrive connector that comes off the shifter. I'm going to use a pick so I don't get my hand in the way of the camera. Try to disconnect this one-handed. And after that, there we go. So if you look right there, you'll see the other retainer that holds this wire in place. And it won't be easy, but you have to disconnect it. You have to go towards the firewall, so to the right as you're looking up. If you're looking the same way I am, I'm trying to push it up to the right. There we go. Okay, the wire's free now. Now let's go back up top and remove the rest of the shifter. Now you can come up here and remove your shifter. Now take your new shifter, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let it sit on top of the steering column here. Feed the wire down through. Back underneath. Grab the wire from up top. Just try to fish it down. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm going to try and pull this wire down. Let's see, I know you can't see, but I can't either. I'm just trying to do this by feel. I'm trying to connect it to the electrical connector. Oh, I think I just got it. Yep, that's in. Perfect. At this point, you would want to clip it in there, in that little connector. I'm not going to lie, that's not going to happen for me because I can't get my hand in there, but if you can, or you can find a way, go for it. I will, however, clip it into these two. That way it's at least secured up over here. Like that. Can't really see anything. It's either my hand in there or the camera. There we go. Perfect. Back up top, reinstall the shifter in here, and let's put this pin through so that it's locked in place. Try to situate it here. There we go. And just tap this down. Just like that. This operates nicely. Bring this boot down, and on this boot I'm going to re-secure the wire in its little retainer here. Slide it down onto the shifter and line it up, both top and bottom, so that it can just slide and clip in here. Okay, everything works. Let's reassemble the rest of the steering column. Now it's time to reassemble the steering column covers. I'm going to take the top one, slide it up and over the shifter, and bring it down into position. If you need to move the steering wheel up and down, you can either grab this and pull it, or if it's too difficult, which most of the time it is, you can just thread the little rod back in. But you should be able to line it up. Make sure it lines up with the shifter boot as well as with the hazard button, and over here, as well as the ignition on this side. There's a lot of things that need to line up. Pull on this, bring this up. Okay, there we go. That's situated itself a little bit better. Let's put the lower cover on. Try to make the two line up. And they do have little clips that snap in, but they're not very strong, so it won't actually lock in until you put the screws back through. So the passenger side is lined up. I'm going to put one of the screws in just so I can secure it in place on this side. Otherwise it'll keep popping off when I try to line up this side. Let's put in this screw over here. And now the last one, which is all the way over here. Let's put the lever back in place, the steering wheel adjuster. Make sure it's bottomed out all the way, nice and snug. Of course, test it out. Yep, works just fine. Now we have to put back this piece up here. So put the shifter down, and this has to kind of slide into place, and then it just clips right in. There's no hardware that secures it in place. Make sure it lines up so you don't break the clips. There we go. Push it. This doesn't line up. There we go. Put it back in park. Give it a couple taps to ensure that it's secured. Now you would take your ignition switch, make sure it's facing the right way. This little detent pin at the bottom. It also has these grooves here that need to line up. Press it in all the way. As you can see, it doesn't come back out. That's how you know it's locked in. Shut it off and pull the key out.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.